Hey everyone, I'm Erick Ramos. I am a YouTuber and a musician with a focus on the ocarina. I wanted to make a quick video to answer a frequently asked question, which is, when did I first discover the ocarina and why am I still playing it after all these years? And then at the end of the video, I have a couple really cool announcements. So like many of you, I first discovered the ocarina through the Legend of Zelda video game series from Nintendo. You can see some of the Zelda/Link figures up here with a few of my other favorite video game characters. But I've always loved video games since I was a little kid, and my other passion was music. So you can imagine how excited I was when the video game Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time came out in 1998. I was a huge Nintendo fan, I was a big subscriber of Nintendo Power magazine, and one day I flipped open to an advert in the middle of the magazine, which was in the year 2000, a couple years later, and I literally started to cry when I found out that ocarinas existed through this particular ad. I ran downstairs, it was pretty close to my birthday, and I begged my parents to buy me this little flute because I had to try it. In fact, I had to make sure this thing was real, so we called up the company, we asked for a sample over the phone, and the second that they played those first few notes, it was like heaven. This thing was real. So we placed the order that day, and I anxiously waited several weeks for it to show up in the mail. And when it did, it was one of the most exciting moments of my life. Granted, I was only 13 at the time, but I was very excited. So for 2 weeks straight, I was obsessed with this thing. It came with this little piece of paper that had all my favorite Zelda songs. I memorized every single one of them, and then I started to teach myself new songs by ear. And I was already playing keyboard and singing a little bit at the time. So I had a little bit of music skill at the beginning. But I started playing things by ear, I took it everywhere I went. And after 2 weeks, we were going to a birthday party with my family. And I was practicing in the car, which I'm sure my family wasn't excited about, but I accidentally dropped it. And it fell by my dad's foot on the driver's side, like right in between the door and the seat on that crack. You can probably see where this is going. My dad couldn't reach it, he tried to reach down and grab it, so he figured maybe if he cracks the door a little bit, he can pick it up. And as he slowly opened the door, everything slowed down. My life flashed before my eyes. And then I heard the sound crash, and my heart broke along with it. I was devastated. And needless to say, that was probably one of the worst birthday parties I've ever attended. So I had this ocarina, which wasn't completely shattered, but there was a very noticeable chunk missing and cracked and lost on the street. So I picked up the pieces and I did my best to fix the shards that I had left. And this is the result. It still works, surprisingly, but this clay isn't even fired or anything. So I had this broken ocarina. I was like, okay, well now what do I do? Do I buy a brand new one? But I found out that on the website, they had other ocarinas other than the Zelda ones. And I was like, well, I experienced the Zelda one. I'm curious what these other ones sound like. So I saved up for the same amount of money and bought 2 ocarinas instead of 1, 2 different sizes. And they kind of fell to the wayside for a couple years. I got sidetracked with high school and finishing my Eagle Scout project, and then working right out of high school. And the only instrument I was really playing at the time was keyboard, so the ocarina got put aside. Years later, when I was in college in my second year, I, for some reason, had a kick on Zelda again. I actually wasn't that into video games for several years during high school. And then all of a sudden I was on eBay and I typed in ocarina for some reason, and I found this beautiful 12-hole Zelda ocarina. I'd never heard of a 12-hole before. I'd only seen the 6-hole versions, and I just had to have it. I started bidding. There was bidding wars for months of me trying to get this particular Zelda ocarina, which would go up to like $500. But nobody else was making 12-hole ocarinas in the States at the time. So I was being pretty relentless trying to win this ocarina, not wanting to spend $500, but I really wanted this ocarina. So on the last auction I was willing to go to, I placed this bid for about $250, which was my budget. I didn't win it, and I was like, that's it, I give up. I'm not supposed to get this thing, I guess. And then about a day or two later, I got a message from the maker, Spencer Register, who said, I saw that you bid pretty high with $250. If you want, I will give you a buy it now option, and you can just spend that much to get this ocarina. What? I did it. I made the plunge and did the buy it now option, and I felt that same excitement that I had years and years before of getting my very first ocarina. And I was still learning how to play it, but somehow I picked up a gig at my college to play at a Christmas party just because I was messing around with a friend with guitar and ocarina. And then when my mom found out I spent this huge chunk of money as a broke college student, she told me, well, if you're going to spend that much, you need to share it with as many people as you can. And I went online to look into sharing video, and I found out about this new website called YouTube. So I typed in ocarina on YouTube, and there was 2 types of videos that I found, maybe about 6 or 7 different people playing. One of them was people playing their favorite Zelda tune, of course, like Zelda's Lullaby, Epona Song, things like that. And the other type was people going, look what I can do. And having an ocarina several years earlier and learning all these different types of music, and then on the new ocarina, that frustrated me a little bit because I knew that this thing was more than a Zelda flute, and I really wanted to show what it was capable of. So on December 31st, 2006, I uploaded my very first ocarina video, which was me playing the Song of Time, really short video, in my bathroom. Really terrible video quality. And out of nowhere, that video got thousands of views. And at that time in YouTube's history, that was crazy. Like, I had no audience, but people just typed in Ocarina or Zelda, and my video went straight to the top of the search. So that video today has almost 8 million views, which is still pretty crazy to me. So I was flipping out that people were excited about this video on the ocarina, and I was just reading through the comments, and they were all super positive, really encouraging, people asking me to upload more, and so I just started posting every couple weeks. And then there was a shift in my videos where not only were people enjoying the music, but they also wanted to know more about the instrument itself. So I started to do a bunch of research about the different ocarina types, the different ocarina makers and companies around the world. So I really felt like my mission became to play the ocarina to bring people together, but also to teach people how to play it, to bring people together and to form community. And that's what the goal of my channel has been, and of my career for the past 10 years. And now I feel like I'm ready for the next part of my career, which is not only to communicate with you via the internet and YouTube videos, but to reach out to this community firsthand with live performances, with more workshops, and teaching people to play in person, which is a huge passion of mine. So this year I have several huge projects. I'm releasing a method book to teach people how to play the ocarina. I'm doing several tours to promote my new album, Ocarina Road. I'm doing house concert tours, I'm doing school tours, I'm visiting conventions. I really just want to meet all of you in person who have been so supportive and encouraging, and really helped me to get where I am today with this instrument and with my music. If you would like to also help support what I'm doing with the ocarina and my mission, I also have a Patreon page, which you can learn more about in the description below, but it's patreon.com/DocJazz4. We have such an incredible community over there of ocarina lovers. Shout out to all my Okamigos over there, you all are amazing. So that's my story, and that's what I'm doing with the ocarina. I would love to hear your story of how you discovered the ocarina and what you would love to do with it. So be sure to leave them in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching and all your support. And if you'd like to follow along with what I'm doing with the ocarina for the rest of this year, be sure to subscribe and check back every Thursday, because I'm going to be trying to post new vlogs with behind the scenes videos, tour videos, all that kinds of stuff. And I'd love for you to be a part of that. Thanks, guys.